We are on the way for our guys weekend at the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway. Got to drop this trailer real quick at Steve's up in Conover, North Carolina. And then we're meeting up with Satish in Tennessee and headed up to Kentucky. Let's get going. Steve's house was probably a 2-hour drive, but we were definitely looking forward to the next 3 days, 2 nights out in the Kentucky outback. Yeah, I'll have to show you my rig setup when we get in camp or something. Part of your tent's out of your shell. That's some beefy suspension too. Wow, your front axles are trussed. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of work done on this, Steve. Steve just purchased this Gladiator used and was rushing to get his alu cab on and it ready for this trip. Yeah. Yeah, it's more built as a rock crawler, to be honest with you. Steve has this is Steve's 2020 Jeep Gladiator. He just bought it, used obviously, but it's a gas model on 38s by 13.5. It's got a lot of money put into it. Whoever owned this before did a great job. Falcon adjustables, full 1-ton steering. Warren winch. Steve just put in the Baja Designs, the DOT ones for the fog lights. I believe these are knockoff LP9s. Steve just wired in those Squadron Pro ditch lights, which are not aimed in the ditch. Steve also put on the alu cab on his and his tent up there. And he also has the full aluminum Arctic skid plates. Front axle is trussed. Portal axles. Very nice. After figuring out Steve's diesel heater, getting it working finally, we head out on the road and meet up with Satish somewhere in Tennessee. We are climbing into an altitude of about probably 2,700 feet in the Pisgah National Forest, coming off I-40. Sorry about the audio, I probably have my fan on. But we reached 237 degrees of oil temperature and about 220 of the coolant, just as a note. We're at the top now, so we're gonna be coming down. Now passing through Asheville, the temperature was really starting to drop into the lower 30s. I had to go to Starbucks today. You get a free red cup today. I didn't know that. She just handed me one, and I'm like, nice plastic cup. Might come in handy, but we're right before Asheville. We're taking Asheville up to meet Satish in Tennessee. So we're still about, what is that, 2 hours away. So on time for 2:30 meetup. Look at that sexy rig right there. From Steve's house to the meetup in Tennessee where we were meeting Satish, it was about 4 hours, so it was quite a haul. Well, look who decided to join us. Always fashionably late. Well, we're almost there. Another 35 minutes. We're in Kentucky. It's about 4:37. 35 degrees outside already, so it's getting cold. It's supposed to get down into the mid-20s tonight. First run of the diesel heater. I got a heated blanket as backup, and I got my 0-degree bag. So I'll be nice and warm regardless. I've slept in colder weather. Still, 30 is freaking cold, man. But it's 4:37. It's technically sunset. This part of, let's see, we're on 30. This part of 30 was under construction 2 years ago. The last time I've been up here. We ran Old Fincastle. I had the Tundra. I got stuck in Old Fincastle for 3 hours. We ran, what else did we run? Spaz Creek, Pumpkin Holler, and Walker Creek Road. That's pretty much it. It was a historic flood 2 years ago as well. And that historic flood, what did they say? 3 feet over the flood line? You can see where the Red River was way over its bank. Spaz Creek was completely flooded. And the creek crossing, Satish sunk his Jeep. I mean, he got his carpets wet anyway because he got stuck. We did end up crossing it the next day when the water level went down a little bit. But I got Satish behind me. I got Steven's Gladiator back there. 10 miles till Bettyville. Probably get with you back at the gas station. Y'all, it is like 30 degrees out here. The diesel pump all the way over here, away from everyone else. And then they give you a slow ass pump too. So we should be coming up on the Nada Tunnel up here. It's actually darker out right now than what the camera shows. And here is the tunnel. Jurassic Park or something, even when you come out. It's super pretty now with the gorge. And then if you look up there, little cave up in there. Very cool.
I think it should be okay. Go towards right a little bit.
There's a rock.
After the tunnel, we quickly aired down.
One I can't walk. Just, yeah, you're good. Keep going. Keep going.
The big tree that has been previously blocking us big rigs is now cut down and gone.
Keep going.
It was starting to get too dark and we were tired from a long day of traveling.
All good. Keep going. You're good.
I did this trail about 2 years ago, but it was completely flooded out at that time. I vaguely remember a nice creek campsite on the left at the start of the trail that is on public property. We just had to find it in the dark. We finally found the campsite. It was on the left, right at the start of the trail. It's on the creek bed. There's a nice fire pit, and in the morning you'll see how nice of a campsite it actually is. More and more of the public land is somehow being sold off. This section right here on the left is still public land, and as long as you're I believe it's 100 feet from the trail and from the water source, you're good. Or if you're at like an established fire pit like this one is, with, you know, rocks laid out like this. There's a nice creek straight ahead right there, and you can fit quite a lot of rigs back in here. Nice and level spots right here on the actual riverbed, but there's also a lot of nice level spots up by the campfire right there. But if you're like us with rooftop tents, this is the place to park. You get that white noise of the river or creek.
This morning, day 2. Last night it dropped down to about 20 degrees. As you can see, Steve has the diesel heater that I have. Let's get up and get going. I didn't film much last night because we got into camp after dark. But this is Spas Creek. It's a campsite on the left, right kind of at the start of the trail. Last time we were here, this creek was raging. Actually, last time we were here, it was flooded. It was probably all the way up on the riverbank. 2 years ago, they had a huge record flood, and that's when we came through. And I remember coming through here, and all this was all flooded out. But it's a nice campsite. You got a pretty flat creek bed right here. You got a little fire pit up here. Some rocks to sit on. You just come through right here. I'm gonna get on the trail here. That's the first ice on the trail. Unfortunately, we don't fit through here. So we're gonna build a ramp. I tried it once or twice already and keep sliding into this because of the angle. So here's the view from inside the truck as I did my last attempt of a pull-up, and then we ended up having to winch. Tight. Yeah. Straight. Yeah, they're beefed up. Winch, 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 winch. Just give her the beans, Steve. Back it up and bump it. No, he's sliding. Yeah. I mean, all right, you can back up maybe 2 feet. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All right. You want to try to get me a traction board on the other side? Yeah. I mean, it don't matter. 'Cause I mean, right there, it's a pretty big hole. All right. As of November 18th, if you come across this part of the Daniel Boone Country Byway Trail on Spas Creek, if you're coming this way, at a sound tree, a stock vehicle should fit under it. But if you have a rooftop tent or anything up on top, you're gonna have to take the bypass. There's a little campsite over here on the left, but it's got a pretty gnarly jump on it. My Gladiator is on 35s, and I could walk up it, but it's wet, so I kept sliding into the tree. So I ended up having to pull line and winch. There's a good tree straight on dead ahead that you can winch to. Steve's on 38s, and he still had a winch just because he kept sliding. So it's not so much a tire issue, it's just a wet mud issue, and even with traction boards, all the weight's in that rear, so you're just gonna keep sliding left. It's a pretty steep decline over there. I'll show you guys that next. It's a pretty steep decline, but it's snowing. One very important lesson that we learned on this trip was momentum. Sometimes we couldn't get up an obstacle, or we were sliding down an obstacle, but we needed that straightforward momentum to get through it. I'll show you guys the decline, but I bet you 33s you can still do it if you just give it a little bit of beans and just pop on up. That's the problem. Go. So that's the decline right there off the campsite bypass. Now this is not the tree in the beginning that we're used to. That tree in the beginning has been cut down. We came into it at night, so couldn't really see it. There's a big doe right in front of me and she's not moving. I don't know if she's on the left. Alright, they said go straight through this one.
Based on your decision, I'll make it.
You're good, it's all solid. It's snowing. It's flurrying actually.
This is the famous little rock step that you have to squeeze between. Steve rubbed his 38s by 13.5-inch tires a little bit on this rock obstacle because it was too wide. I fit through it before on my Tundra at 35s, but it's tight.
Do I got it on my passenger?
You have to go straight though. Keep going, you're good.
Towards me? Yeah. Come. Right after that little rock step, you have a pretty good rutted out area with some parts that you have to straddle coming back up out of this little gorge area with a big downward washout into a big little mud pit. This part has gotten a lot worse in the last 2 years than what I remember, but as long as you straddle it and it's not too muddy out, you'll just be fine. We have more difficult sections up ahead. When you make it to this section, it is the last of the technical section of Spas Creek. Obviously, the next episode I have coming out will be Pumpkin Holler, and that has a lot more technical section, but it's a lot shorter as well. Well guys, thanks for watching. This is the end of Spas Creek. My next episode coming out will have us doing Pumpkin Holler, and that will be turning a left right here and going down and making another left at the barn to go up Pumpkin Holler. As you can see, the snow is starting to come back down pretty good. We end up getting a light dusting on the ground that stayed with us through the night. What a great trip so far. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell so you can get a notification for when the next episode comes out of us doing the next section on this little adventure trip. We'll see you on the next one. Tell him to keep going straight.